Stop, drop, and roll, buddy. What are you doing?
Come on.
Don't just brush it off.
Because I know when you hear about anything that happens overseas, you want to just go and make them pay.
Trying to make your guns talk back and forth to lay out a steady rate of fire. I go, you go.
Yeah.
I go, you go. Hi, my name is Israel Wright. I was a Special Forces Green Beret and I was deployed to Iraq in 2008.
Hey, my name's Cameron Fath. I was a U.S. Army Ranger, and I was deployed to Syria in 2017.
All right, today we're going to be watching Spec-ops The Line.
A lot to live up to since, you know, we're both super secret Spec-ops members.
This is basically autobiographical.
This is our life while we were in the military.
This is our deployment right here.
Prepare to fire. That in order? Yeah, it is.
Oh, mortar.
Okay, putting up a mortar. He just popped it in there. That looked like an 81 millimeter mortar. So you got 60s, 81s, and 120s. You're basically talking about the size of that round being projected. So an 81, there's no way he could have just dropped an 81 right there, especially on concrete with the base plate. You'd f everybody up.
It looks like they had some aerial surveillance going on, the infrared aerial surveillance. You know, definitely something that you might have access to.
So this is actually ISR. So right now they're having thermal imaging from a bird that's at a very high altitude. It's called ISR for intelligence, reconnaissance, and surveillance. We actually wouldn't even go out on target unless we had ISR assets. It's basically telling you where everyone is, gets eyes on the objective. So if there's anything like a squirter would run, which a squirter is somebody who's running from the target building out and we have to go chase them down, they can tell us exactly where they are, if they're armed, whatnot. Amazing asset to have.
This scenario, elite unit with certain high-level assets at their disposal. So this is definitely the kind of stuff that you would have in a situation like this.
They're not firing the mortar from the computer, but they are getting their elevation, you know, all their numbers to dial in and send that mortar where it needs to go. The computer is important, but it's not actually shooting the mortar system itself. So like in special operations, we have a little cell phone, and that would give us a lot of information that we would wear with us, and that would just be an app on the phone. It wouldn't be the actual dedicated phone. You can still make calls off it and everything.
Yeah, you're not going to be playing any games on this kind of tough book computer out in the field, but it's going to be loaded up with all sorts of different software that's going to help you with mortar fire or communications or things like that.
Oh yeah, got a 50 cal mounted position, probably a good thing to take that out. Any enemy technical vehicles is a priority. You're gonna take those out with 84 millimeter cannons.
Yeah, they got those bigger guns.
Yeah, you need anti-tank weapons on you. We would use the Carl Gustav, which is an 84 millimeter recoilless rifle that's replaced the AT-4 because you could reload it, so now you can take that on and off target with you and have multiple ammunitions for different types of targets.
Right
So
on.
great asset to have.
White phosphorus is super hot, burn through anything. Sometimes if you might have to...
There's a good example right there. White phosphorus, also called Willy Pete. You can drop that in a mortar, it would send, and you would drop a Willy Pete on target and they would hit and they would spray the white phosphorus and then drop an HE, so when the HE lands on the white phosphorus, it would just send it.
Yeah.
And it would just take everything out.
Looks like that's what these guys encountered.
Yeah, looks like it. A lot of burns.
Not a good way to go. He's got himself a little camel back there. They're out in the desert environment.
Okay, I don't know if these are friendlies. Looks like friendlies.
Looks like it.
It's terrible. See, seeing that like that just makes you want to murder everything.
Right.
Yeah. These guys are actually reacting very calmly because I know when you hear about anything that happens overseas, you want to just go and make them pay. When I was overseas, there was the French. They lost a guy that got ambushed by ISIS, and they ended up losing a guy, and 2 of them were injured. And then the next day, they packed up everything and they left for 3 days. During those 3 days, we received the most amount of fire missions. They laid hate and just killed everything. So this is kind of cool. I love third-person games because I was a huge Gears of War fan growing up. I love the way you can actually see what your character looks like, the way they move, and you can see how they carry stuff. It looks like a scar on its back, but you can't just throw things on your back, obviously. The only people that I've ever saw roll things on their back was actually your boys, SF. They would rig the 320 standalone, so your 40 Mike Mike people, I said it again. Yeah, they throw that on their back on a bungee so they can reach back and just shoot their 40 Mike and then throw it back on there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
I like it. Innovative. Looks like this guy's been through a lot. He's still got a buddy. He's moving. They're moving from position to position. I don't know that you're ever going to go behind the couch.
Yeah, just blind
Unless
fire
you just
like
want to
that.
waste a bunch of bullets.
And I mean, if he's shooting the Scar, most likely, let's see if I can see the magazine, because you got the Scar Heavy, and you got obviously your Scar Light, and that's the difference between 7.62 and 5.56. 7.62 Scar, they only carry 20 rounds, and you're not going to want to shoot that on fully automatic, because it kicks like a mother.
And the Scar is actually, yeah, they have the ability to interchangeable barrels. They can fire 5.56 or 7.62. It's actually kind of a cool weapon
dome
system.
shot. Boom, headshot.
He shouldn't get that close.
No, you shouldn't be that close.
A lot of fire. Generally, if you got a buddy, you're trying to make your guns talk back and forth to lay out a steady rate of fire. I go, you go. I go, you go. If you have that option, you know, to keep the other guy's heads down. You know, you're always trying to hit something, but you want to keep their heads down so that you can move closer and get a better position.
Even if you don't know where they are, like if you're in contact, you're engaging what we call known, likely, and suspected, right? If you know they're there, you can see them, go ahead and engage that position. If they're likely to pop up somewhere where you think they're gonna be, go ahead and engage that position. You're trying to guess where they're going, and you wanna lay suppression on there to keep them from even coming up. So you definitely don't wanna be moving without some type of base of fire that's, you know, covering your maneuver. Otherwise, you're just asking to get shot. Looks like you got the home gym there. Go ahead and
take a couple minutes, get a couple reps in.
Yeah, take a couple plates, because those are worth gold during this quarantine. A little saw, M249.
Nice.
Just laying these dudes down.
Squad automatic weapon, yeah, fully automatic machine gun. You got two guys against an obviously larger force, so if you can hold on to something like a saw in that situation, that would be pretty advantageous.
That would be ideal. Typically, ammo allocation, like you're in a really long firefight, you want to minimize the amount of times you need to reload, right? Because you're just trying to lay rounds down range, and it's not really helpful to have homeboy standing right in front of you because you just cut off his field of fire. But yeah, so it also depends. I mean, the nutsack, we call them nutsacks. People get over it, okay? The nutsack is what carries your ammunition in the saw, right? Because it's a belt-fed weapon system. So typically they carry a good nutsack will carry about 100 rounds, but if you get a pork chop, which is just straight out of the ammo can, that will typically carry 200 rounds. So that's 200 rounds or 100 rounds of uninterrupted just fire towards keeping heads down.
Right. Yeah, M249.
M249.
Fires belt-fed 5.56 rounds. So the same kind of rounds that you would have in an M4, only it's just a whole belt full of them.
Exactly. And you can also, in the case that you run out of ammunition for the saw, you can put an M4 magazine in it as well.
It's also,
so that's interchangeable, and that's why they use it in the teams.
If you're in a squad, typically you're going to have, what, one or two of these? But in this situation, it's good to have two.
Yeah, just because if there's just two of them, and there's a lot of guys that need killing, I would take two saws. Woo! Sanded them.
Believe it or not, it's extremely difficult to get a grenade to go where you want it to go. There's training for that, especially.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's funny you say that, because you can really tell in the military who played catch with their dad as a kid by the way they throw their frag grenades.
That's right. Very important interpersonal information right
Absolutely. There are no secrets. We know which one of you didn't have a dad, okay? Let's see what's going on. We just cleared an objective, and then he's walking around like nothing just happened. So typically after, you come into contact, there's steps you take. Usually, if we're outside, we're gonna establish security first, and then we're gonna reconsolidate and reorganize. So the team leader's gonna come around, and they're gonna check their guys, and they're gonna get ACE reports, right? And ACE stands for ammunition, casualties, and equipment. If I'm the team leader, I'm gonna go up to my Joe, and I'm gonna pat him down and make sure he's not shot, because a lot of the times when adrenaline is going, and you don't even know when you're shot, so it takes someone's hands to actually get on you. And I'm also gonna check how much ammo he has. I'm gonna check if any of equipment is missing, because if equipment is missing, obviously that can get to the hands of the enemy and be used against us later.
Whoa!
What just happened?
Man, boy, I don't know what that was. Oh, that's horrible.
Man, I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Oh my goodness. Just stop, drop, and roll, buddy. What are you doing?
Come on.
Don't just brush it off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, he's going up against, it looks like an organized military force.
Exactly. All by himself. John Rambo.
Yeah.
He was
like
Green Beret.
I could do that. I love the action in this game. I love the kind of near future post-apocalyptic kind of Saudi Arabia type desert atmosphere.
Absolutely. Super fast paced. Love when the napalm came in and just scorched
Intense.
earth.
If you want to see more videos like this, just go to Gameology's Facebook and YouTube page.
See you there.
It's coarse and rough, and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
Oh boy, here I go killing again. 30 minutes later.